Good day, students. Welcome to Mathgotserved.com. In this clip, we're going to be going over section 4.2 of our virtual geometry text on properties of triangles. We're going to be looking at how to solve problems involving angle bisectors. The sample problem is one presented here where you are going to be given a triangle, an angle bisector, the measure of an angle, and you're going to use that information to find another angle and measure. Don't forget, we have 6 practice problems at the end of this presentation for you to try out to demonstrate mastery of the contents of this presentation. To gain access to our entire geometry course list, Algebra 1, 2, Pre-Calc, Calc, just take a look at the links in the description below, or just visit our website at Mathgotserved.com. Alright, to get us started, we're going to take a look at what the definition of angle bisectors are. So this is our website, Mathgotserved.com. So we're going to go under the geometry section and scroll down to the geometry vocab collection. Definition number 15 is what we're looking at. So what is a triangle angle bisector? So a triangle's angle bisector is a segment that divides an angle in a triangle into 2 equal angles. So take a look at triangle ABC here. If you notice, segment AD is a bisector. What does that mean? This segment right here divides angle ABC into 2 equal angles. All right, so if we want to express a relationship as a result of this bisector right here, we can say that angle BAD, this angle right here, is equal to angle CAD. Okay, or half of BAC, the entire angle that's been bisected, is equal to either BAD or CAD. So that's basically what an angle bisector is. So to gain access to this definition and other valuable information for geometry, just visit our website at mathgotserved.com/geometry. All right, let's take a look at some examples. So in all the triangles that we're going to be dealing with, the examples and your practice problems, you're going to have a triangle with one of the angle bisectors shown, okay? So in question number 1, if the measure of angle BAP is equal to 30 degrees, the task is to find the measure of angle BAC. Okay, so in order to find the measure of angle BAC, what we're going to do is we need to write down a relationship between angle BAC and this angle that we're given, angle BAP. Okay, all right, so let's write down the following statement. Since segment AP is the bisector, what does that tell us? Since segment AP is the bisector, that follows that the entire half of the entire angle, half of the measure of the entire angle BAC is going to be either this one or the other one. So we can just pick one. Is equal to measure of angle BAP. All right, and is also equal to the measure of angle CAP. All right, we illustrated this relationship in the formulas that we just looked at the website. All right, so in order for us to find the measure of angle BAC, all we just simply do is substitute and solve, okay? So let's go ahead and substitute. We're going to be using this one, BAC and BAP. So what we're looking for is measure of angle BAC. So 1/2 the measure of angle BAC is equal to the measure of angle BAP, which is 30 degrees. So this is an algebraic equation where we're solving for the measure of angle BAC. So how do we solve for the measure of angle BAC? We need to get rid of this 1/2 right here. So just think about it algebraically. Half of what is 30? The answer is 60, right? So you can just write down the answer, but to show the steps to get rid of 1/2, we'll multiply by the reciprocal, which is 2/1, but we could just use 2. Multiply both sides by 2, and the measure of angle BAC is 60 degrees. Okay? All right, now let's take a look at another example. So number 2, if the measure of angle 1 is equal to 38 degrees, find the measure of angle GFP. Okay, so let's say this is 1 right here. Bam. So that goes 1. And this is 2. All right, so this given segment right here is a bisector. So we know these two angles are congruent. So let's go ahead and we want to find the measure of angle GFP. All right, so what kind of relationship do these two angles have? Angle 1 and angle 1 is the same thing as HFP, right? And angle GFP, the one we're looking for. What's the relationship between these two? All right, let's go ahead and write it down. Since segment FP is the bisector of angle GFH, then what? Then we know that these two angles must be the same. So the measure of angle GFP is equal to the measure of angle HFP. Okay, let's substitute and solve here. So the measure of angle GFP is what we're looking for. So measure of angle GFP. And the measure of angle HFP is just 1, right? That's the measure of angle 1. And we're told earlier that the measure of angle 1 is 38 degrees. So we can substitute that in there. So the measure of angle GFP is equal to 38 degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the answer to question number 2. All right, let's take a look at number 3, slightly more involved. So for question number 3, if the measure of angle ABD is equal to 56x and the measure of angle CBD is equal to 55, x plus 1, find x. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's find x. So remember the initial condition that we're given. We're told that each triangle is given with the bisector. Okay, so this angle right here is congruent to this angle right here since it's bisected by this segment. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up an equation using the information that we have. Now, since BD, segment BD is the bisector of angle ABC, then these two angles have to be congruent, right? So the measure, then the measure of angle ABD is equal to the measure of angle CBD. All right, so we have it that way. So now let's go ahead and substitute. Measure of ABD and CBD are the same. So if we substitute ABD is 56x, and then that's equal to measure of angle CBD, which is 55x plus 1. So let's go ahead and solve this resulting algebraic equation. So we're going to get the x on one side, so we'll subtract 55x from both sides of the equation. Okay. Because it's positive, you do the inverse operation, subtract that, and then you end up with 56 minus 55, that's just x, is equal to, so that adds up to 0. X is equal to 1. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the answer to question number 3. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. So for question number 4, something similar. Consider the following situation. So let's say this is x. No, sorry, it's not x. This is 1. and this is 2. So if the measure of angle 1 is equal to 16x plus 4, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 17x plus 1, find x. Bam. Okay, so let's do that. Now, let's go ahead and find x. So in order to find x, let's express a relationship between these two angles, angles 1 and 2. Now, since segment KH is the bisector of angle GHI, what does that tell us? Then we know that the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2 by the definition of an angle bisector. Okay, so we're just going to substitute and solve. So when we substitute, the measure of angle 1 is 16x plus 4. That is equal to the measure of angle 2, which is 17x plus 1. Okay, so now we're going to solve the resulting equation for x. Okay, so how do we do that? Let's move all the x's to the right and the numbers to the left. So I'm going to subtract 16x from the left side and the right side of my equation. And then I'm going to, so this 16 will be gone. So I need this one to the left side. So subtract 1 from both sides of my equation. Okay, and what's the result? We're going to have 4 minus 1 is 3. And then 17 minus 16, 17x minus 16x, sorry, is just x. So that goes our answer, okay? X is equal to 3, ladies and gentlemen. That is the answer to question number 4. Alrighty, let's take a look at one more problem, question number 5. So question number 5, if the measure of angle 1, write it properly, if the measure of angle 1 is equal to 4x minus 5, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 13 plus 2x, find the measure of angle ECD. All right, so let's say this is ECD. We're looking for the entire angle this time. And then, of course, PC is the mid segment, and this is 1, and this is 2. All right, so in this particular problem, we're looking for the measure of the entire angle, which is dependent on 1 and 2. And you notice that 1 and 2 are algebraic expressions. So this is going to be a two-part process. So we need to figure out what x is, and then we can then use x to figure out what the measure of angle ECD is, because if we know what x is, then we know we can figure out what the measure of angle 1 and 2 are. Okay, so technically it's a three-part process. So I'm going to make it 3 steps so that nobody gets confused. All right, so these are the steps that we're going to follow. Alrighty, so step 1, we're going to find x. Okay, and then step 2, we're going to find the measure of angle 1 and 2. You can just use only one, but it's okay. Find the measure of angle 1 and 2, and then step 3, we're going to find the entire angle ECD, which is either the combination of both or doubling of one of them. Okay? All right, with that in mind, let's start with the first part, part 1. I want to find x. All right, so what do we know? Let's write down a statement. Since PC, segment PC is the bisector of angle ECD, then what? Then we know that the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2 based on the definition of an angle bisector. Okay, so we can set these two together. We have 4x minus 5 equals 13 plus 2x. Okay, let's go ahead and get x isolated. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides of the equation. And then we have the minus 5 here. To get rid of that, we add 5 to both sides. So what's going to happen here, we're doing 2 steps in one, okay? All the x's will be collected to the left side, and all the constants will be collected to the right side of our equation. So let's simplify that. 4x minus 2x, that's just going to be 2x. These ones add up to 0. Goodbye. And then 13 plus 5 is going to be 18. So to get x isolated, we simply divide both sides of our equation by 2. And then that will give us x equals 18 over 2, which is 9. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with part 1, okay? So next, we want to find the measure of angle 1 and 2, or we can just find one of them, okay? Let's do it the long way. So part 2, let's find the measure of angle 1. Okay, sorry, let me write down what we're about to do here. So for part 2, we are going to find the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2. So if you want to find the measure of angle 1, that's going to be, we're going to use 4x minus 5. And we know that x is equal to what? X is 9. We just found it. So we just take this value and plug it into the x. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to 4 times 9 minus 5 by substitution. And we just PEMDAS this. 4 times 9 is 36 minus 5, which is 31. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you can use this information to finish off the problem. You can just double this to get the measure of ECD. Okay. So if you double this, you get 62 degrees. That's the answer. But let's just for kicks, let me just show you what the measure of angle 2 is, and then we'll use both of them together. All right. Okay, so let's find the measure of angle 2 also, and then hopefully we get 62 degrees when we combine them together. So the measure of angle 2 is, measure of angle 2 is 13 plus 2x. So we're going to just plug 9 into that one also. So that would give us 13 plus 2 times 9. If we PEMDAS this, we have 13 plus 18. 13 plus 18 is 31. You notice they're both the same. Hopefully you're not surprised at that, because if you have a bisector, you have 2 equal angles. Okay, so the measure of angle ECD is equal to measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2. It can also be found by using 2 times the measure of angle 1. It can also be found by using 2 times the measure of angle 2. It doesn't matter. All right. So I'm going to use the first combination. I'm going to use measure of angle ECD is equal to the sum of both of them. Okay. So the first one is 31 plus 31 is the same thing as 2 times 31, right? So your final answer is going to be 62 degrees. I wrote 61. Okay, 62 degrees, ladies and gentlemen. That is the answer to question number 5. All right, so that's that. Now it's your turn to do some practice problems to demonstrate mastery of what we've covered in this presentation. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's now your turn to try out some practice problems. There are 6 practice problems we'd like you to try out. So what we'd like you to do, go ahead and pause this video presentation at this time. Work on these 6 problems. When you're done, click on the playback button, and we are going to reveal what the correct answers are. Welcome back. Hopefully you had a chance to try out the 6 practice problems. Let's take a look at what the answers are. For question number 1, the answer is 16 degrees for the measure of angle 1. For number 2, the answer is 52 degrees for the measure of angle USD. Number 3, the value of x is 1. For number 4, the value of x is 7. For number 5, the measure of angle 2 is 15 degrees. And for number 6, the measure of angle SQR is 42 degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, how well did you do in these 6 practice problems? Let us know in the comment section below how well you did. And if there are any questions you have, just specify it and we'll be more than glad to assist you. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. To help support our channel, to give us a like or a thumbs up. Your positive feedback is extremely valuable to us. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for updates to other math tutorials such as this. And do visit our website at mathgotserved.com for tons of support resources to help you to be successful in geometry. Thanks again for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.